What's up, YouTube? Knight's Edge here again. Got a fun little video, a little different what I usually do anyway, today. Before I get into it, I want to thank everybody for subscribing to the channel. Like the videos if you like the content. Hit subscribe if you want more of them. Hit the little bell icon down there next to subscribe. That that helps me make sure you see me ramble about knives. That's little notification bell that helps a lot. Also, channel members are available, and memberships are available, and Patreon's available too. I really want to thank all my Patreons. Appreciate everyone that helps keep me going, support the channel. Man, you guys are awesome. Patreon tiers start at $2 a month, if anyone's interested. So today got a little list video for you. I wanted to go through different lock types. Now I know I don't have every knife lock type, you know, known to man by any means, but I think I got enough in my collection to kind of do like a general overview, you know. So I'm gonna bring out the first round here. I want to do them kind of by categories, if that makes any sense, of some that are similar anyway. So this is a back lock, and that's one of the few middle finger flicking back locks you'll find, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but this is pretty smooth for a back lock. This is a Spyderco Native 5 lightweight MagnaCut salt. Comes with the back lock. So I redid the scales. That's Applied Weapons Tech scales there. And this is a back lock, but it's also a triad lock. You know, the locking mechanisms on the back, it's actuated, open the same way, right, as a back lock pretty much, but inside of there you got more points of contact. It's a more secure lock. It's one of the most secure locks in the industry for anybody that's you know, not familiar, if you're new to the knife world or whatever. Cold steel triad lock. Now I do have, let's see, I had all of them laid out, but forgot one type of lock. It's really not a lock, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it anyway. And that would be the slip joint. Alright, so usually these have like two little detent spots right there and right there. You know, that's kind of like I think what you would call a walk and talk on it, maybe. I don't know, not that familiar with slip joint stuff. I do have about 10, 12 of them, you know, but yeah, they don't just fall shut, you know, but there's nothing, you know, blocking this blade from coming back. So if you're using it, it's really a non-locking knife. So that's a slip joint right there. I bring that one in for honorable mention anyway. Continuing on through the knife categories, or the lock categories, let's go to the next category. To me, that would be kind of like frame locks and liner locks. So here you got three different examples of three different kinds. This is a Chavez Scapegoat. This is a frame lock. So that piece is, you know, out of the handle scale on one side. So it's made out of the frame itself of the knife. So that's why it's called a frame lock, I believe. Also, I think Chris Reeves Integral Lock was the first company, if I'm not mistaken, to invent the modern frame lock. Matter of fact, I got one of Mr. Eddie's, Chris Reeves, right over here somewhere. Here's a Sabenza. Yeah, so it's essentially the same type of lock. It comes out of the frame. They call that a RIL, Reeves Integral Lock. Chris Reeves invented it. We can enjoy it. It's not patented like that anymore. The design, I guess, lost patent, just like the compression lock or the axis lock. A couple others we'll get to here in a minute. So that's the frame lock. Here's the liner lock. Right, that's just a regular old liner lock. This is a Gerber fastball. Very neat little knife. But yeah, it's inside the liners of the knife. So that's the handle. This is the liner that's inside that the handle screws to. And there you see that coming out on one side of the liner, making it a liner lock. Alright, next we have same type, a little bit different though, inset liner lock. So this is almost like an aesthetic difference, really. But this is a Monterey Bay Knives Rosalinda, but that is inset into the handles. It's a difference there. It's not constantly sticking out of the handle scales. That's an inset liner lock. Still not a frame lock because it's not part of the frame, right? So that would be the Monterey Bay Knives Rosalinda inset liner lock. Next is one of my favorite ones. This one is the compression lock. Kind of in a category of its own. It's comparable to a liner lock, like a top-sided liner lock, but a little bit different. So what you have here coming out of the liner, you have a tab that whenever this blade rolls open, springs into place. All right, so that can't go up because you know you got the stop pin there and the liner, top liner lock, aka compression lock, jamming into it right there. To close it, you pinch this shut and it goes shut. This is a Spyderco Shaman, by the way, with met and embossed scales I put on there recently. One of my favorite locks right there. It keeps your hands out of the path of the, you know, the cutting edge when you're closing it. But, you know, also pretty convenient. You just move your hand back, pinch it, and it's shut. There's other locks that are like a lot quicker and still keep your hand out of the cutting path, but that compression lock, man, to me, it's definitely one of my favorites for sure. All right, moving on to the next one. We've got, this is a Spyderco Smock. Now this is a compression lock. Whoop, mess that up. This is a compression lock, but it's button actuated. So you see the compression lock inside of there, you know, top-sided liner lock that goes into the liner underneath the stop pin, or serves as a stop pin, right? But it's got another pin above it right there, almost like a barrel spacer kind of, but it's a pin. So that button moves in, pushes that out of the way, and disengages that. Pretty cool. This is one of the most fidgety knives in my collection. It's one of my favorite knives in my collection. I don't drop it all over the place. Spyderco Smock. I know I'm not, you know, trying to focus on individual knives on this list because I have quite a few of them on this list. So, but yeah, this is a Spyderco Smock, custom Kevin Smock scales and a Lynch Northwest clip on it. Pretty cool knife, and that is a button actuated compression lock. That's what that one is. Pretty cool. All right, next we'll go to button lock. This is a button lock. It's a plunge style button lock. Pushes that in. This is a QSP Penguin from Traditional Pocket Knives, courtesy of Angelo on My Journeys live stream. The giveaway knife. I really appreciate this. It's an awesome knife. One of my favorites that I have in my collection. It's a really nice knife. Jig titanium, gold colored, button actuated plunge lock, button lock essentially. QSP Penguin from Traditional Pocket Knives. This is an exclusive one. So yeah, that pushes, this little button is inset into that liner on that side, and that handle scale on that side, and what it does is there's a spring in there inside of that top piece. So when you push that, it pushes it out of the way and it shuts. It sits in a little groove right there. You can see that groove when it's moving. There it goes. Now it's locked. You push it and it's unlocked. So that would be a button lock, plunge lock, button lock. They do have button locks that aren't plunge locks. I don't think I have any of those though. This is a crossbar lock. Now they have different patented names or different company names for these crossbar locks, depending on what company you go with. You know, Kershaw's, I don't remember what it's called. My apologies to Kershaw. But this one's pretty smooth. You know, this is a crossbar lock, so what it does is there's a little coil on there. You pull this back, right, and it disengages. Whenever you're engaging it, watch that bar right there in the middle. It goes in place, and that little notch at the base of the tang of the blade and it's locked in place. One bad thing about these is they depend on coils and springs. This got a couple different types here on the table. This is the OG. This is the Benchmade Axis lock. This is the first crossbar style lock. Benchmade invented it, and when the patent ran out, a lot of other companies started taking over, trying to take over the market and capitalize on it, you know, which is, that's awesome, you know, and spurs innovation, you know. But this one runs on Omega springs. When you pull it out the way, gets out the way, closes, and whenever you open it, watch that bar again, right there over the tang, secures it in place. That's a crossbar lock, Axis lock, the original. Another one is very, very, very similar. This is an Able lock, crossbar lock, runs on different type of springs, but essentially the same lock type, but called the Able lock because it's Hoag's brand. This is a Ritter Hoag. Doug Ritter came up with the Griptilian, designed it, and then moved from Benchmade to Hoag and put this one out. Pretty nice knife, kind of like an upgrade to the Griptilian in many ways, but I really do like that original Griptilian. I probably carry it more than the Ritter Hoag, but the Ritter Hoag's a great knife too. So that's an Able lock, crossbar style lock. All right, moving on, you got ball bearing lock, which is similar to the crossbar style lock. That's why I'm kind of keeping it in the same, you know, well, it's next anyway. So that ball is in there. There's a little piece in there that pushes that spring forward. There's a spring coiled around a little piece of metal in there, if you can see it. So whenever you pull this back, that spring and that piece of metal come back, and there's a ball inside of there. It's hard to see from this side, that slides into place, as you can see it move there. So whenever this goes all the way open, that notch gets to where it needs to be. Whenever the knife is fully engaged, that spring slides into place, and there's a little steel ball in there, ball bearing, that keeps it locked out in place. Pretty secure locking system. To me, more secure than like a standard crossbar lock. That's Spyderco Manix 2, by the way, Manix 2 XL. All right, next on the list, kind of similar anyway. This one is a ram lock. All right, so instead of the ball bearing, I just disassembled a MSI last week with this ram lock. Got very familiar with that. So you got like a bar in there, but the spring, instead of being like a crossbar lock, is on a straight piece of metal, just like with the Manix 2 XL, right? So this is, you know, you pinch it, you're pulling that back, that's out of the way, close. All right, opening right there. That slides that in, that little bar, the ram, I guess, you know, is what that part's called. That spring pushes that into place, locking it, you know, solid. You can open and close this one with one hand with a thumb, like that. Middle finger flick it open, you know, one thumb on that, sliding it back, is all it takes. It's really smooth, really good locking system. MSI's had some issues with theirs whenever they first came out, I believe. I don't know about the stitch or the amphibian, but the MSI's were failing on some of the originals, and Microtech corrected that mistake. What was happening was these were sliding, whenever this slides forward, that bar, as you can see right there, and it gets pushed into the tang, it wasn't sliding far enough into the tang of the blade. So whenever it would get tapped a little bit, you know, it would kind of fail that, you know, a little bit of vibration, a little tapping would knock it out of place, which is not good. So since then, the MSIs, they have corrected that. The ones I've handled anyway. So that's the ram lock. All right, getting on through this. The next few are not, you know, this is kind of a weird, these are more weird locks, I guess. I don't know. Next one is the Snex Super Lock. Right, so got familiar with this, took this one apart, put it back together. You can slide this little piece back, and whenever the tang of the blade reaches right there where that stop pin where that stop pin's at, right, that you can see comes down and locks it in place. Pretty good lock. I like this lock. I really like locks that you can handle from the top like that for some reason. I don't know, you know, I mean, I guess everybody's different, you know, preferences are different, all that stuff. But I really like that one. Sneck Super Lock. And the patent's open on that, I believe. Tactile just used that on their Chupacabra. That's a Civivi Vision FG, by the way. That's a Microtech stitch. I don't know if I said that or not. Alright, next lock style. This is the Shark Lock by Demco Knives. It's after that Vision FG just because it's similar with that top actuation, you know. Definitely differences about it. This one's riding on a spring in there. You slide that back, right, and that spring's constantly wanting to push that whole bar into place right there. So as it's opening, you can see it go into place real quick, and it's activated. You can see it from the top here. Probably my favorite, or I don't know, I can't say that. I love the compression lock, and I love the ram lock. One of my favorites anyway. And a lot of people don't like it, you know, and that's fine. Everybody's different. This is the Demco Knives 8020.5. I did put an aftermarket clip on there. I believe this is one of the Knife Center ones in D2, one of the OG ones that came out. But I like how this one kind of makes that click clank, you know, clickety clack noise. You know, that's always been pretty neat to me with that, kind of like a mechanical sound. All right, so next up, this will be the last manual, I think. Yeah, kind of. Anyway, this is a Scorpion lock. Cold steel knives, 8015. Unique to this one and only knife as far as I know. I don't know any other knives with the Scorpion lock. This is pretty interesting to take apart and put back together. This one, you got this top piece, you know, and it's definitely 100% unique, you know. Love it or hate it. You can see essentially how this one works too, you know. See it rotating, the base of the tang of the blade rotating on the pivot right there. You got those two notches on each side. You got that groove out, and watch this. Also this pin here too. So watch this. Bam! That's locked in place right there, solid. And as long as you got it in hand, you know, and you're squeezing on it, that essentially locks it, you know, even more, right? Because it's securing it more in place. To release it, you can raise that up, give it a little shake, and it'll go shut. This one can be open and closed one-handed, you know, but a lot of times I'll use two hands whenever I'm opening and closing it. But it is possible, you know, to open and close it with one hand. But yeah, that's a pretty neat one. That's the Cold Steel Knives 8015 with the Scorpion lock. Now, Demco designed locks. The Triad lock for this one, that's Cold Steel. He designed the Scorpion lock for this one, Cold Steel. And this is a Demco Knives, this is his own company, since he parted ways with them. This is a production knife, and a lot of you may have it. A lot of people in the knife world have this one. They're becoming cheaper and cheaper, easier to get a hold of, which is a good thing. And this is Demco, you know, 8020.5. So, moving on here. This one is an out the side automatic, so it's a button lock, I guess, technically, right? So this, you know, does move that out of the way, but watch. Whenever I push this, that springs into place to open it up. Without pushing that button, this is not going anywhere. It's locked out solid. This is a Kershaw Knives Launch 13. Pretty interesting looking design, right? Very cool knife. Made in the USA. It's one of their USA made Kershaws. So, trying to open this, it won't, you know, pull open like a regular out the side knife. You know, this one and pretty much all the other ones on the table, you know. But this, no, you gotta push that button. Side opening, out the side, automatic. Pretty cool. Kershaw Launch 13. All right, next. The next, second to last anyway, are going to be out the front automatics, which is a knife type, but it's also, I guess, a type of lock, right? So when you hit they got a spring system, rail system inside of here. When you push that forward, it springs out. It is locked into place. Little device goes behind the tang of the blade, ensuring that it does not go closed. When you pull it back, it retracts. This is a double action. Cole actually has a single action, but she's got it with her right now, so I can't show it. But on a single action, you would push that open, you know, it would come out, and then instead of just pulling it to close it, you'd have to disengage something, a button or something, and then pull it back, that spring, and pull it back. Well, the double action, you can sit there literally until your thumb gets tired and do that. So that's an out the front double action. This is two. This has just got the switch on the side. That's the Microtech Direct Delta. This is the Heretic Knives Manicore X. Also double action automatic. Pretty smooth firing mechanism, but this switch is just on the side as opposed to on the front like that one. So last would be, I guess, a type of knife, but also a lock type too, gravity knife. All right, so this one, open or closed, doesn't do anything. This is a Remet swordfish, by the way. When you push that open, it doesn't have a spring that shoots the knife out like with this one. You know, it doesn't do that, as you just saw. This one is actuated by, or activated, once that lock's moved out of the way, by gravity. So that opens the knife, right? Now it's opened up. All gravity knives have different types of, I guess, placeholders, locks on them. You know, this one's on the side, so whenever I push it up and these two side pieces roll open or spring open, it closes, right? So gravity knife. And the last one, this is also a gravity knife. You know, I'm just showing off the different types of gravity knives, I guess, with this one. But this little latch here has a couple little indentations on it that kind of help hold it in place a little bit. But, you know, this is pretty easy to come open. So whenever it pops open, that freely swings open like that. And is essentially activated by gravity. So that's another type of gravity knife right there. So yeah, that's as far as I can see, other than different, you know, copyrighted company names. Those are all the different types of locks that I have right now, and I'm very much looking forward to, you know, experimenting with more and getting a hold of more and all that stuff. Tell me your favorite lock down below in the comments. I'd love to hear it. Let me know if this video helped you out. You know, I know a lot of people know all this stuff already that have been in the community for a while, but maybe it'll help somebody out, you know, help you out when you're trying to decide what to get or whatever. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Appreciate everyone watching, and thanks for liking the video, share it, you know, hit the notification bell, subscribe to the channel, get a membership, Patreon, whatever, everything, everything you can do helps out a lot. And if you don't do nothing and you're still listening to me ramble, hell, at least you listen to me. I appreciate that too. Hope y'all have a good rest of your day, and I will see you guys on the next one.